Good evening and welcome to Sheldon Talks to the Stars. I'm Sheldon the Sheep here at Cinema Wasteland in Ohio. You know, you can have your Louvre, you can have your MoMA or whatever, but let me tell you people, I just spent 2 days at one of the most fucking amazing museums you're ever going to see, the Tom Sullivan Museum downstairs at the Holiday Inn here in Ohio, and it's my privilege. I'm about to shit myself. I'm sitting here with Tom Sullivan, the man who taught Sam Raimi into making sure that there's some stop motion in Evil Dead. Tom Sullivan.
Hi, Sheldon.
Hi, Tom. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. It's my first show with you.
Well, you haven't seen our show yet. Maybe the honor is all mine.
Yeah, I probably should have looked at the DVD first. Yeah.
So I'm really curious. You first met Sam Raimi on campus. It was a campus thing?
At MSU. Back in my married days, my wife was going to MSU, and we were on campus living in Cherry Lane Apartments, the married housing. And I read about in the school paper about the MSU Creative Filmmaking Society, and it was
a shell corporation.
Kind of, yeah. Ivan and Sam Raimi, new guys on campus at Michigan State, had found out that student-led activities were kind of inexpensive for students. So you could rent an auditorium with a screen for $30 a night, you know, like on a Friday night.
Right.
So Sam would come up with the money, rent the room, and then set up a projector and show his old Super 8s from high school and junior high, these goofy kind of Three Stooges-like comedies that he did. And
which are hard to find.
Which are almost impossible to find.
But Sam's car is in almost every one of them.
It's very likely.
I think the Dodge even goes back to the.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's all
it's
the
in
car that you
Valley
see
Kid,
in every.
It's Murder.
It's in every Sam Raimi feature.
Pretty much, yeah, definitely. And well, anyway, I introduced myself, and we kind of hit it off. And I had my little stop motion special effects reel, and so I would show that. We'd go over to their apartment after their Friday night things, and just have fun and party down and stuff, and talk movies. And at the time, Sam was putting on the finishing touches on a feature-length comedy called It's a Murder.
Right.
And I helped out with some sound effects. I could, at one point, the hero was being poisoned, and I'm making the noises of the poisonous pills dropping into the glass. And I used to do it better. And then I did a poster for that little movie, kind of a Jack Davis, Frank Frazetta romp chase poster. And
like a Mad World type.
That kind of thing, yeah, with everybody chasing the lead.
Sure.
And it turned out kind of fun. And then Sam and Rob had an apartment off campus, and they got kicked out and lost their deposit for doing special effects at 4 in the morning, even though they had duct taped a big mattress to the wall of the neighbor they were worried about.
Okay.
And they decided to go for broke and make a feature film. And so that became Book of the Dead, which was later retitled as Evil Dead. And now it's the movie that won't die. It just keeps growing and growing. And it
was a video nasty, and now you can get it at Walmart.
That's right. Sam and I went to England right after when Evil Dead was released there, and it was like one of the first video nasties. And right before we got there, like a day or two earlier, there had been an armed raid on a mom-and-pop video store to clear out of Evil Dead and 1 or 2 others. And cops don't carry, the constables don't carry guns in England. So you've got to go to get a court order to allow that to happen. Right, and an armed raid on a video store, a mom-and-pop one too. It's not like...
Oh, I'll bet they were packing heat.
Oh, yeah, they had to be.
Oh, sure. That's a tough part of Piccadilly Circus.
Yeah, and those video merchants, boy, there's the scourge of the underworld.
That's a seedy crowd if ever there was one. I've been in show business, and
well,
the seediest producer doesn't hold a candle to
sure.
To your average
even
mom
today,
and pop video.
Video rental stores are just dens of iniquity and sad human
video.
nature.
What is that exactly? No, I'm just kidding. Video, because it's,
it's like a disease.
Yeah, it is.
On private parts.
It really is. Now, before I get too hung up here, I just have to ask. There's a certain 1,000-yard stare that Bruce has and Josh Becker has, because they were there, man. Were you down there, man? Were you there? Were you in the shit?
We were in the shit, man.
Okay.
Away from home, far away in the land of Tennessee.
I'm talking about Evil Dead, not like
Evil
some
Dead.
frat initiation.
Yeah.
But
and,
seriously,
that's kind of what it was like like a 7-week frat initiation.
But it's like a compendium of like what you don't do.
Yeah.
In a way. You
Yeah.
know.
But it was also kind of like unsupervised summer camp. And there's just lots of things to do, and I had a ball doing it. What I remember was no jerks, no assholes, no divas, no egos. It was just a good group of folks, and we're all still friends today. It's really cool.
Look me in the eye, Tom. Tell me true.
Yeah.
Did you, Tom Sullivan, sample moonshine?
Actually, I'm probably the one that didn't, because I didn't want to go blind. I figured I needed my eyes.
Very true, very true.
Yeah.
It's a good lesson for you young filmmakers.
Yeah, I mean...
Save your eyes.
I just like to
And
have
take care of your teeth.
government stamp on it to know I'm not drinking, you know, wood alcohol or whatever. However, there was plenty that flowed freely on the set.
I tried out for the crew, but when I heard later what happened, I'm kind of glad things worked out. I'm glad I didn't get a job working for you guys, because it sounds like awful. Just 87 kinds of
Actually,
awful.
it was a lot of fun. We were all having fun. I mean, like poor Ellen Sandweiss played Cheryl.
Sure.
She's
filming. You're talking about the future Mrs. Sheldon.
She is filming all night long. It's
We
middle of November or early or in December, and we're filming outdoor stuff, and it's freezing. And she's in a nightgown and panties and stuff. And
Oh yeah.
and I had the makeup chore of painting all the scratches from all the bushes and things she had run across on her legs and body and
Poor
stuff.
bastard.
Night after night after night.
Oh my God.
That's what makeup artists have to do.
Sacrifices we make, folks, for
Yeah,
showbiz.
Sure. Well, it's art, and
It is art.
art is pain.
It's art and time and money and not enough of any of it.
Right.
Well, speaking of art, seriously, you've got some amazing pieces downstairs. Maybe you got something there you could show us?
Yes, I do actually.
Oh boy.
I'm a illustrator and a painter. Not only did I do the pictures for the Book of the Dead, but I do all sorts of cool things.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, here. Speaking of Book of the Dead, the original title of Evil Dead.
I thought we'd start with titties, but go ahead.
No, we'll build up to that. But here's one of the first posters I did for Evil Dead. In fact, this is the first one for the early premiere at the Redford Theater in Detroit.
Oh,
And
okay.
back when it was called Book of the Dead, they got an agent who said, if you have book as a title in your movie, kids may think they're going to be expected to read at some point during the film. And so
The
we had to
famous
change
Irvin
it.
Shapiro, by the way.
Very famous Irvin Shapiro.
Man who handled like Spartacus. I can't remember. He
And-
handled Potemkin. He worked on
Battleship Potemkin was his first film.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
sell a commie film to American audiences. And
Look
he
it
did
up, film nerds.
Yeah, you should. If you're a film nerd, you should know about that film. It influenced.
Don't just be
montage.
watching Jennifer Aniston movies. Do a little research.
That's right. And well, anyway, so Sam Raimi asked everybody for title suggestions, and my first was "Sex Bad Must Kill." That kind of works for Evil Dead and
Sure.
every other horror film made in the '80s.
Sure.
And my
And now-
favorite one is "Lick the Blood Off My Shovel." Now, my favorite inscription when I sign things. It's the first one people get.
I'm going to steal that and call it. That's going to be my
Isn't that neat?
autobiography.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's
there's a
pretty.
book with a tongue sticking out and a big scary face and all that stuff.
Boy, oh boy,
But I have
that's
more.
good stuff.
And I'm a big Lovecraft fan, and I used to illustrate role-playing game books for a company called Chaosium. They did the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. And this is a painting of Cthulhu I did as a commission for one of the writers of Call of Cthulhu.
What do you got here?
What I have here is another portrait of Cthulhu sleeping in ancient relay. And when he hears his name pronounced correctly, he will awaken. And when we hear the call of Cthulhu, why, it's all over for humanity. And here he is sleeping, and he's being worshipped down at the bottom here by the deep ones. Humans that had commingled with humans and created more of these things that go worship Cthulhu in the deep sea.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you. I like that one.
I saw some stuff down there. It really reminded me of Ralph Bakshi, like Wizards.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a little sloppy, but I like him.
Yeah, yeah. And, oh, this one goes this way.
Yeah, it does.
And this is a kind of a cave woman who's gotten herself into a big jam in a spider pit, and she's being menaced by spiders, but she's got a dagger that's ready to cut them into little pieces. Painting I did back in the, oh gee, what, I forgot what year, 76 or something.
What's the medium?
Oils. I love oil paints.
Oh, okay.
Oil paints, and I do gouache and watercolors and pen and ink and pencil.
Did you study, or are you just one of those guys that just was always drawing, always painting?
Yeah, I was pretty much always drawing. I just drew along like any other kid until junior high, and during the 7th grade, the coolest kid in school was Kurt Lux, and he would draw Thor and Hulk and Captain America really well. And I noticed that he'd be drawing during cafeteria hour and have a crowd of people, half of them girls, behind him. And I thought, hey, this is great. You can become popular. You don't have to talk to anybody.
Right, right.
And
That
so
sounds good.
Kurt gave me a lesson in how to draw superheroes, and probably the really influential lesson. But as a knowing what our teachers would teach you, it was completely the wrong thing to teach me, but it was like, just draw the outlines of things. You know, the one long curve for the outside of the leg, and then the knees are like commas, and then, you know, that kind of thing. And instead of a skeleton and build up the muscle and draw it like it's 3D, I did that stuff. But I had a good eye for copying things, and I love Steve Ditko, and later in high school, Kurt turned me on to Frank Frazetta, and that became an incredible influence on my life. That guy's the master. He did the Conan the Barbarians and Tarzan series and At the Earth's Core and all these great illustrations for Burroughs books and many, many other books. They put his artwork on books just because they would know they'd sell out. It was that good.
Did you ever see My Dinner with Andre?
Yes, I had. I just watched it a couple weeks ago.
My brother beat me out for a part. He played dinner.
Oh no! Was he blue too?
He was very blue.
Aqua?
He's not as depressed as I am, but he wasn't in show business as long as I
Okay.
have been. And of course, you didn't just do stop motion on Evil Dead, but you designed some of the props, like the Kandarian dagger.
Yeah.
And which I think.
You know, I happen to have a Kandarian dagger with
I
me.
smell evil in the hotel.
Yeah. Here
I
we
smell
go.
the smell of the stench of sulfur. Ooh.
Isn't that pretty? Yeah. Let's move it in close.
I saw something like that in a sex shop in Brooklyn, but I won't say anything.
Well, that's where I got this.
Okay.
Now, what I did was, we needed a Kandarian dagger, and I was thinking making these evil things feel and look evil. So there's a paper mache material called cellulose clay, and it's ground up paper with you know, the glue in it. So you just add water, and it turns into clay that you can sculpt. And I had, for Evil Dead 1, I had a aluminum piece of metal I'd gotten. It was the widest thing I could find at the local hardware, and that became the blade, and it went into the hilt. I just packed the celluclay, this gray material, around it, and I had a 12-inch Revell model kit. And I just started sticking the arms and legs. There's the skull, there's the rib cage.
Oh, yeah.
And put the teeth in here. And then I ran out of bones. You know, here's the spine and all that stuff, and hands and feet. And I ran out of bones, so I went and bought some chickens and cooked those up, and you know, ate them for dinner, and then boiled the bones and let them dry. And I stuck those in. And here's the chicken leg bones.
Well, you know, it's a little known fact, but chicken bones weren't just part of your prop making, but I know they used a lot of them in the sound booth.
Did they? Oh, for breaking, of cracking and stuff. Yeah.
There's a mixing room somewhere in New York that still has a funny smell because of all the chicken that they were.
I can imagine.
The chicken bones that they were snapping to get
Sure.
the right sound effect for an effect. You know?
Yep. Now this is the dagger from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
So.
So it's a funny one.
It's we decided that aluminum blade just looked kind of lame. Wish I'd had a better idea of what to do. And Mike Tursick, and then a few touch-ups by Bryan Ray. Mike Tursick is an T-R-C-I-C,
Sure.
amazing sculptor, just off the scale. I wish I had 1/100th of his talent. But he did the maquette for the T-Rex for Jurassic Park. And there's a photo of him working on the skull and stuff, but he's an amazing artist. And he sculpted the whole thing. And then Brian Ray just kind of finished it off, because Mikey got pulled away for other things. And that became the Blade. And the idea is if you've seen Evil Dead 2, at the very end, this Ash has been catapulted back in time, and he's at...
spoilers.
Yeah, some spoilers for a 30-year-old film. And he had... he's
if you haven't seen
captured
Evil
by
Dead, if you haven't seen Evil Dead 2, you're wrong.
yeah, he's captured by some knights, and suddenly a flying deadite, a big creature with wings and all this stuff, comes flying in, and he pulls out his shotgun and blows its head apart. And that had, now you don't see it in the movie because there's too many short shots, but it had a long tail, kind of like a seahorse. But the very end was a cartilaginous, whatever the word is, a cartilage tail that was kind of a stiff bone, like a blade, and this is it. I haven't even told Sam Raimi that, so you know something the director doesn't even know. But the idea is it could come down and whip it or swing it and knock soldiers off their horses and such. And anyway, that's the story of the Kandarian dagger. Now we're making replicas of these. And I hand paint them myself.
Like collector's replicas, kind of?
Yes, and they are. You can compare them to the original in my at my case and see that they're like spot on. Because I use that as a reference for all of them.
Did you cast them? And then
yeah, they're cast in a really quality resin. It's stiff, but it's just a little flexible, so it won't be brittle. You know, so it can be handled and won't break. Still, you don't want to go out and play and swing these around, but
these are shot for Revel kids.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
That's really something, Tom.
Yeah, I'm really happy with these.
And like everybody else in Hollywood, you have a movie.
Yeah, I'm here to plug it.
Which is great.
It's a brand new film called Invaluable. Let's get it up there. Great zoom you got.
Invaluable.
Invaluable. And it says the true story of an epic artist, and it's a documentary about me by my friend Ryan Mead. And it stars Bruce Campbell, Ellen Sandweiss, Betsy Baker, Hal Delrich, Teresa Tilley, Tom Sullivan, Ted Raimi, and many, many more, including lots of unsung heroes from Evil Dead 1 and 2. And we talk a lot about the movies, but it's about my life and career in films and stuff. And we had lots of great help from my pals at Evil Dead and other folks to get stories that you just aren't familiar with and everything.
I hate to go back in time, because I'm thinking we're getting to the end here, because this has been so nice that you had made all this time to talk to me.
Oh, I've got one more little thing to show.
You do?
Because we do all sorts of goofy things.
Show and tell is not over.
Show and tell, yeah. And I got a friend, Pat Reese, and he makes Evil Dead, I'm not sure of that, but they're like sculptures, they're model kits that you can buy, but they're like big things of Ash and Cheryl and the fan-made things. Yeah. And for one of them, it came with a Book of the Dead, which hadn't been licensed by me, but it was the wrong scale for the figure. And so I made a little one here. Let's see if I can get it out here. And you can see the little mini Book of the Dead there. And it turned out so well. I cast it, and now we sell these. I hand paint them myself. Those are $35. Then we have a friend paints them with glow-in-the-dark paint, and we have those as magnets and on a little stand. And those are $25, and then we have the unpainted ones for $15. And somebody brought in they bought an unpainted one last fall and brought it in, and they had done this cool psychedelic purple and green thing on it. And it was wild. It was great.
Oh, wow.
But neat, huh? Nice detail in there.
Yeah.
And it comes with a little card signed by me. It's a picture of the book, so you have something to put it on your shelf with and have a little display and all that.
Great.
And fans love them. I'm really happy with the way they've been received.
Well, it's a great room you're running down there.
Thank you. And Cinema Wasteland is a great show. It's a drive-in movie-themed convention, and Ken Kish and Barb put on these great shows. It's like family. I've done every single show. We just started our 15th year here.
Everywhere I look, I see posters for movies I was cut out of.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. I mean, I show up on time, but Charlton Heston fired me from the set of Touch of Evil because I told him we should rethink his new science fiction movie and call it Planet of the Sheep Men.
Wow.
And I got back to my trailer and there was a pink slip signed by Mr. Heston.
Yeah, it's weird because
usually you have a
made
lack
in the 50s and Planet of the Sheep Men. When was that made?
68.
Yeah, 68. Yeah.
It took a while. It took a while to get it going.
Yeah.
But I thought that I would be better suited and scarier, frankly, than Morris Evans. But he didn't agree, and usually you have a lackey do your fire for you. It had his name right on there.
Really?
It's a little disconcerting, I must say.
But well, that's showbiz, you know. It's a rough trade.
But I know the way out of all the major studios.
No, they're great. So if there's an emergency, well, you're the first out.
I know where the back door. Yeah, I know where the back door is.
See, there's a plus to everything. It's a lose-win thing.
Well, listen. Before I let you go,
yeah,
there's a couple things. I guess for me, getting going, it was movies like Yellow Submarine and Peter Max and stuff like that.
Sure.
What was it for you?
Oh, easily the original King Kong. Just saw it when I was 5 years old with my 4-year-old brother, and changed my life. Yeah, first time I'd ever heard about dinosaurs. I think even probably gorillas, and here's an island with giant ones, and it just got me. Interestingly, we watched it up to the middle of the T-Rex King Kong fight, and Dad yells upstairs to us, "Hey, come on, guys, we gotta go to the lumberyard." "No, Dad, it's the coolest movie." And no, we gotta go. So I didn't see how it ended for another year. Mom kept a lookout for me because that's all I talked about.
And if you missed it back in those days, you missed it.
Yeah, it was.
There was no DVR.
No video stores, not even VHS, not even a dream of VHS at that. Well, maybe there kind of was.
Yeah,
some kind of tape, but.
It was the size of a Buick.
Yeah, that's right. You'd have to drive a Buick into your TV room.
So you like King Kong in spite of the story flaw, which is in every one of them.
Why do they have a gate so big he can walk through?
No. Now pretend you're one of the crew members and you tell me, we're ready to go and I'll be the boss.
Okay.
So just pretend here's the scene. You say we're ready to go.
We're ready to go, and action.
Yeah. Hey, well, why don't you put that big ape on the anyway? Well, here's what happened. They said we're gonna put that big ape on a ship, boss. And he goes, great. And you want us to grab a dinosaur while we're here? No, all I care about is apes. Are you sure? Because we've got plenty of room for a couple dinosaurs. I think that might be kind of interesting for people to see. No. I came here to get a giant ape. That's all I care about. You're always talking about dinosaurs. Shut up. And they fire him. And then
they fire him on the island?
And there should be a line where they, I don't like dinosaurs. Kids don't like dinosaurs. And if they saw dinosaurs, they wouldn't like them twice as much as they don't like them now. Anyway, I thought it was silly that. Yeah, the dinosaurs, especially in the Peter Jackson version. Yeah, the dinosaurs we spent 45 minutes running away from. I think you were there. You sure you don't want to grab one of these while we're here? Seems like it might be a good idea.
Yeah, like an egg, You don't have to take the whole thing because you got to control them. Like, what did they feed King Kong on the way back? How did they strap him down? I mean, he could rip that ship apart in seconds.
Yeah, that's true. But then his fur would ripple.
Yeah, that's a whole other movie,
in the old movie, his fur would ripple. But,
right.
No fur rippling in the new one. Yeah, okay. And before we let you go, since you were so kind enough to show your artwork, we have a little thing here. We can just pass this to you.
Oh, okay.
That's one of our old art cards from the 50s, back in the Shellco network.
Wow.
If you can show that to the camera, that's
okay.
Back in the what do you call it? The missile test days.
Right.
Back when we weren't so sure what was going to happen.
New York.
So
We've lost Cleveland.
I don't even think they have those kind of, please stand by cards anymore. I don't know how it works.
They must.
I think you just get
have
something or something.
Yeah, or they have just the station ID or something. They don't want to alarm you.
But you can see, Tom, I signed it for you.
Oh, you did. Sheldon the Sheep.
And once we scan them into the computer, we usually shred them or give them away to homeless people. But anyway, you were here, and you're such a fine artist. We wanted you to have some of our art.
Well, thank you very much
for being on the show, and thanks for coming to Cinema Wasteland, man.
Nice to meet you, Sheldon.
I love you.
Aww,
Get it? You.
Right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.